Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. I appreciate you all coming here today. Student success is so important, and being an engaged student outside the classroom means that you have an 85% chance of student success versus a non-engaged student. So give yourself a hand for being here today. Obviously, you want to know the secrets, right, to college success, life success. I know I do. I met Jullien Gordon at the National First Year Experience Conference a couple years ago, and I'll tell you, you are in for a treat today. By far the best motivational speaker I have ever seen in my life. I am going to turn it over to Mr. Watkins, our Vice President of Student Affairs, to introduce Jullien to you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, wait. Y'all know me better than that. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. See, I got an important job today because I was talking to Jullien backstage a moment ago, and he said, all right, Mr. Watkins, here's your job today. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to get him motivated, I'm going to get him going, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but first, you got to be my hype man. I'm like, what? Yeah, you got to be my hype man. So you got to go out here and you got to get the crowd motivated and ready to go. So today, the rules are you got to be interactive with him, okay? He's going to come out here, he's going to talk about some things that have helped him to be successful. Listen and learn, because for all of us, as we continue to move on, there have been those things that have become that defining moment. You know, for me, it's been that defining moment when I was in college and really trying to figure out where I wanted to be and how was I going to get there. Needless to say that over the years, everything that I started doing, I'm not doing today. But the skills that I've learned along the way from being involved in the various things that in college life help prepare me for what it is that I'm doing today, which is ironically working with students. Because if you would have asked me that many, many years ago, I would have told you no. My whole job would have been, I would be in radio and TV forever. But it evolved into working with students and the experience that I've been given that I'm able to relate to you guys every day. And so it's the experiences that you're going to have here in college that you're going to be able to take forth. So today, you're going to have an experience today to talk with someone who's been there, who has found some secrets that he would like to share. So let me tell you a little bit about our special guest today. Jullien Gordon is the son of two doctors, and as a result, everyone expected him to be some sort of super doctor. Instead, he became a superhero who goes by the name the Interviewer. All right, as the CEO of the New Hire, he spends his life helping young people successfully transitioning from college to career and making a living doing what they love to do and being successful at it. Now, some people call it motivational speaking, life coaching, or consulting, but Jullien calls it helping people dream awake. According to Jullien, to dream means to have desired relationships, employment, and money. And success is the equilibrium of these three elements for each individual. Now, he's also passionate about writing. He has published 4 books, The 8 Cylinders of Success, How to Align Your Personal and Professional Purpose, Good Excuse Goals, How to End Procrastination and Perfectionism Forever, The Interview, Everything You Need to Know and Do Before Your Job Interview, and 101 Things to Do Before You Graduate. Now, he blogs regularly at JullienGordon.com on millennials, purpose, passions, and professional development. In 2007, Jullien received 2 master's degrees from Stanford University. He received his MBA and a master's in education. And in 2003, he received his bachelor's of arts from UCLA in 3 years. Jullien Gordon is originally from Oakland, California, and currently resides in Brooklyn, New York. So put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Mr. Jullien Gordon. Good afternoon, how you doing? Good.
Good, good. I'm so glad to see you all out here. First and foremost, I want to thank the university. I want to thank Rochelle for organizing this event, inviting me to be here. I'm going to be speaking at the leadership conference on Saturday as well. But she said, how can we attach this on so that all of the IRSC students could get access to this knowledge that I want to share today. And so I'm so glad that she did that, and I'm so glad that you are all here today. My intention for this space is that this is one of the most powerful 60 to 75 minutes of your undergraduate experience. Every time I go to speak on a stage, I want it to be that kind of transformational experience. There are a lot of people out here who are motivational speakers and get this rah-rah, but I'm not here just for the transfer of information. I'm actually here for your transformation. And I know that not everybody's mind is going to be open, but the fact that you came here shows that you are open to choosing a different path and a different way to navigate not only your undergraduate experience in your life. And so for the next 60 to 75 minutes, I invite you to have an open mind, because I believe that some of the principles that I share with you could actually change your life forever. Today I want to share with you what I call the other 4.0. And the other 4.0 is the metric that I use to dictate and determine my success, and I'm going to show you how to grow the other 4.0 right here and right now. And I'm going to start off by sharing my story. Some of you may have seen my TED Talk. It has almost 300,000 views now. That's an old image, and it spread virally, and that's why I stepped into this work. I did this TED Talk, and it resonated with a lot of people. And TED Talks are typically only 12 to 18 minutes, but obviously today I have more time with you, so we get to go into more depth. I spoke all over the country. I went to UCLA and Stanford, UCLA I graduated from in 3 years. Stanford, I got my MBA, Master's in Education, and now I get to add you all on the map over here. But you know, I've been to Florida, been to Hillsborough Community College, Miami-Dade, UCF. I've been all over Florida, so I'm so glad to be here today. But this work really started for me when I was at my little brother's graduation. He graduated from UC Irvine. I have two little brothers. One was 4 years behind me, and the other one was 6 years behind me. And the littlest one was graduating, and all the graduates on the ground floor of the basketball arena at UC Irvine, and all the guests were on the upper deck. And I'm looking for my little brother, and while I'm looking for my little brother, how many remember that music? How many can't wait to get back to that music? So I'm looking for my little brother, and on one of the graduates' hats, I see, "Hire me." And it was at this moment that I realized that higher education was no longer leading students to getting hired. See, my brothers are 4 years and 6 years behind me, and something happened in that short period of space and time. We grew up with the same exact resources, with the same parents. But there was something that changed in the world that was making it harder for both of them upon graduation and causing them to have a completely different experience of the real world upon graduation than I did. They are smart, they are hardworking, and they're great young men. Yet, one graduated unemployed and the other one graduated underemployed. And I couldn't understand why. So that evening, I went home and I couldn't sleep, and I wrote down all the things that I did during my undergraduate experience that prepared me to step out into my dreams after graduation, not wait until retirement, not wait until I became some sort of millionaire or anything like that, but to actually start living my dreams right away. And I believe that that's possible if you use this space and time in your life in the right way. And so here we are in college, and you've all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. And the way the story works is, you know, that the hare is off to this fast start, and the tortoise is just being consistent, and steady wins the race. Well, the story flips when it comes to you all. Here we are sitting on this college, right? Indian River State College, right? And it is a slow-moving institution. This is a bureaucratic organization, and even with great leaders like Dr. Watkins, it can't evolve quick enough to prepare you for the world that you're going to graduate into. So here you are this hare, you're this fast-thinking, witty individual who has access to information on your phone instantaneously. And what we've been told is to jump on this tortoise and hold on for 4 years. And if you hold on for 4 years, it's going to take you to the finish line, and the world is going to open to you once you cross that 4-year line. And that's not the case. And so today I'm actually here to kick you off the tortoise, not for you to drop out of school, but to let you know that there's another curriculum outside of the curriculum that you have to take for classes that you need to be engaged in order to make the most of this time here in college. So many of us were taught to take the easy road, and the easy road is be good, get good grades, go to good school, and get a good job. Raise your hand if that's what you were told to do. We must have had the same parents. So it's called Easy Road for a reason. Why? Because it's easy. With the exception of people who are taking STEM and things of that nature, many of you don't wake up sweating bullets every day because college is so hard. Of course, when you procrastinate a little bit or a lot, and you have to pump out a 30-page paper in 1 hour, then you might sweat a little bit. But for the most part, college isn't pushing you to your fullest potential. It's not challenging you at the level that you could be challenged. And so we've been taught to just take easy road. Go to college and everything's just going to magically work out. And like I said for my little brother, something changed in that short period of space and time. And I want to prepare you so that that does not have to happen for you. And so here's your life, right? The average American man lives to 76. The average American woman lives to 81. So we have this black area, that's sleep. So 1/3 of your life is gone to sleep. So just chalk that up. Okay. Then you have this yellow area, that's free time. You have a lot when you're a little kid. You have very little when you're a working professional, perhaps in a romantic relationship. You get married, have kids. You have no time when you have kids. And then a lot of people play the game, especially here in Florida, of retirement. I'm going to delay my dream, and one day I'll enjoy it. I do not want to retire and have to go to the amusement park with a walker. That's not my vision of a successful life. And so here we have college, this 2 or 4 year space and time, and I know the college is changing to 4 years fully. And if you use this little sliver of time properly, it can position you to make this big red area, which is your career, which is going to be a lot of your waking hours. You use this space properly, it can make this space purposeful and something that you're passionate about. It's kind of like bowling. If you're off track early, then this becomes hard and you end up in the gutter. But if you're on track early, you can strike big in life. And so really in college, it's very binary. You either work hard now so that you can do what you love later, or you chill now and enjoy easy road, and then you spend all this time working really, really hard doing something you don't necessarily love and enjoy. That's the trade-off that you have, okay? And so many of us are taught to take these different paths, be a teacher, doctor, lawyer, engineer, businessman, or businesswoman, as if those are the only 5 career paths that exist. And the reality is that the number of career paths in today's world are absolutely infinite. Infinite. You don't have to go and choose from these limited menus. Raise your hand if you don't want to be any of these 5 things. Okay? And for those of you who do want to be one of these 5 things, my question to you is, how do you know and why? How do you know and why? Some of you want to be lawyers. Where did that idea come from? Who planted that seed in your mind? Have you even interviewed a lawyer? Have you talked to a lawyer who does this work full time? Some of you want to be doctors. Why? Because your parents want you to be doctors. Have you ever cut somebody open and see blood rush out? Are you really passionate about healing, or is that just to please your parents? When the number of career possibilities are infinite, we have to ask ourselves, why are we making the choices that we made based on very limited information? Okay? So when everybody's going on the same road at the same time, that's actually called traffic. And I want to help you avoid traffic as you step into the real world, and that's what today is really all about. So what changed for my little brothers? See, when our parents, how many of you are first generation? Okay. So for the older generation, all they had to do was outcompete the person to their left and their right in their high school classroom, and they would be okay. They didn't even have to go to college, and they would still be able to own a home here in Florida, have a nice little car, and raise you right. They didn't even have to go to college. Then for me, I'm a little older than some of you, my generation. I had to outcompete all the students in the state of California in order to get into UCLA. Right? Because of my AP exams, because of my honors courses, GPA, etc., I was able to get into UCLA, but I had to compete against all the students in the state of California. Our parents were only competing against who? The people in their high school classroom. I had to compete against who? All the students in the state of California. And as you know, being here in Florida, California is also a very big state. For you all on the younger end of the millennial generation, you are now competing against everyone in your age group in the entire world. You are competing against everyone in your age group in the entire world. So if you expect to do the same thing that I did or that your parents did and get the same results, you're going to have a rude awakening upon graduation. You have to figure out how you are going to stand out like this red dot. Because guess what? There's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of people graduating on the same day as you with equal degrees from equal or better institutions with equal or better GPAs. So how are you going to stand out in that world? See, our parents, they always give us this sob story about how hard they had it. And of course, if you have a first-generation parent and they came here from somewhere, it was probably hard. But here's how you know you have it even harder than your parents. Next time they give you that sob story about how hard they had it, ask them would they trade places with you. Ask them would they trade places with you. And deep down inside, they know that they wouldn't. They know that they wouldn't. Why? Because what happened between my little brothers and I is this thing called globalization. And what globalization does is it makes the world flat, which means that the playing field is absolutely level. Our parents never had to compete against a student in India. Our parents never had to compete against a student in China. If you saw the video earlier, it said that there are more Indian honor students than America has students in totality. They have more honor students than we have total students. Our parents never had to compete in the global economy like that. When I was growing up, I had an Encyclopedia Britannica set at home. So if I had a book report to write, I could run downstairs, reference the books, write my report, and turn it in the next day. All my friends who didn't have an encyclopedia set had to do what? They had to go to a library. So because I had access to information faster than they did, I had an advantage. Google's mission is to make the world's information universally accessible to all people, and has been doing a great job of that. And while it may seem like it's easier because you have access to information, guess what? Everybody has access to the same information now. So this is how the playing field gets leveled. You see, when you look at the global economy, this is an Indian young boy studying a book under a McDonald's streetlight. Who's hungrier for education and opportunity, this young boy or you? He will eat almost all of you alive in this global economy. And you want to know how I know? CEO of Google is an Indian man. An American company, CEO is an Indian man. This is the reality that you will all be graduating into. And see, I have two speeches. I have the rah-rah motivational speech that I could have given you, and we could have, college will be there, and we'll be able to fulfill your dreams if you just go to college, rah. But instead, I decided to give you the truth, and they say that the truth will set you free. But sometimes the truth also hurts. But I know that if you know the truth and we stop giving you these fairy tale ideas about what college is going to do for you, that all of you will be able to rise to the occasion. Or at least you won't be able to leave this room and say, nobody told me. So a lot of people are graduating nowadays with these expensive college degrees. Major debt and minor capital. At the end of the day, this is just a piece of paper. In fact, I could go to Kinko's and I can make an exact replica of the degree that you're going to get from this institution for about 10 cents. So this piece of paper is worth nothing more than 10 cents. I have two of them from some amazing, I have three of them actually, from amazing institutions, and guess what? I have no clue where they are. Seriously, I have no clue where they are, and I don't care. Because these pieces of paper have no inherent value. What determines the value of this piece of paper is not the fact that you get it. What determines the value of the piece of paper is what you did to get it. What you did between orientation and graduation. If you do the exact same thing that everybody else in this room does, then guess what? You're going to get the exact same results. You can't expect to do the exact same thing that everybody else does and expect to have greater results than everybody else. It just doesn't make sense. And so what people do is they take this 10-cent piece of paper and they go to the bookstore on graduation day and they get this $125 mahogany frame. And the mahogany frame is actually worth more than the 10-cent piece of paper inside of it. If you were to take your diploma from here and the frame to a pawn shop, which one are you going to get more money for? The frame. So are you really here just to get a college degree? No, there has to be something else. See, college is the greatest hustle of all time. If I go to a car dealer and I put money down for a car, what do I get? I get a car. If I go to a restaurant and I put money down for food, what do I get? If I put money down for college, what do you get? You get college. You don't own a piece of this college. There's no document that you can all show me right now where this institution promised you anything except for credits. There's no document where they said they were going to help you get a job. There's no document where they said they were going to help you actually become smarter. There's no document or any agreement anywhere that you can show me. Does anybody have this document where they promise you that for all the money that you pay? Does anybody have that document? Where else in the world do you pay for something and there's not a specific deliverable that you get as a result of paying for it? So we got to be very clear about what you stepped into. And part of it is the fact that many of us started when we were 18. Nowhere else will anybody offer you this kind of money, these kind of loans in your life. But for some reason, we're happily just giving 18-year-olds loans. And this is why we have the student loan crisis, and student loans have surpassed credit card debt. Okay? So why did you come to college? Why did you come to college? Anybody?
Get a job.
To get a job? Why did you come to college? To learn? Huh? Pursue my dreams. Grow as an individual. Relationships. Okay.
To get education.
To get education. Gain skills and experience. Again, this institution, does anybody have a document that says that this institution was going to give you those things? That they promised to give you those things in exchange for the money? Does anybody have a document like that? No contract, no agreement anywhere? Okay, just being clear about that. So we have to be clear on why we are here. Let's imagine two people are running a marathon. One person's running to win, the other person's running to finish. Are they going to run the same exact race? They're running different races. See, the person who just runs to finish, they'll probably start training a few weeks before. They'll run around the block, and hopefully they'll run around the block enough times to say, you know what, I'm ready to do this. They won't change their eating habits. They won't change their exercise habits. They'll show up on the day of the marathon, run half a marathon, and then pray that they can run another half marathon in the same day. The person who's running to win will start training months before. They'll change their exercise, they'll change their diet, they'll actually run the actual course that they're going to run on the day of the marathon, they'll memorize it, they'll have a strategy for it, they'll know when they're going to accelerate, when they're going to slow down, when they're going to take on water, they'll have all that laid out, right? So your intention, whether it's just to win or it's to finish, shapes the way you actually run the race that's ahead of you. And some of you have come to college without a real intention. And without having a real intention, it's shaping the way you show up every single day on campus, or shaping the way you don't show up on campus. So we got to get clear on why we're here. The X factor to success is knowing your why. So one person said, I'm here to get an education, I'm here to learn. How many of you here to get an education and learn? Okay. How many of you have fallen asleep in class before? Are y'all lying to me in my face right now? So watch this. I'm going to get everybody else. Watch this. How many of you were asleep at home while class was going on? Ah, there we go. Oh, I wasn't asleep in class, but I was asleep at home while class was going on. Are we really here to learn? We cram for exams, and the moment we hit the exit door, what happens to all the information? You're not here to learn. You ain't got to fool nobody. You ain't got to lie to kick it. You're not really here to learn. If you're really here to learn, many of us, when a professor misses class, for whatever reason, they just don't show up, and we got that 10-minute rule. Is it like a 5-minute rule here or 10-minute? 10-minute rule? 15-minute rule? We get happy. We're like, oh, 14, they might not come. Yet you've paid them, and then we're celebrating that they don't come, and none of us make a beeline straight to the financial aid office and say, hey, you owe me money because my professor didn't show up. Does that make any, isn't that what you should do? If you pay for a hamburger and fries and they didn't give you your fries, what you gonna go do? But when it's college, when it's education, we're like, oh no, it's cool, I'm about to go chill. I'm happy they didn't show up. It's backwards. It's backwards. So we're really here to learn. If we're really here to learn, this is my favorite shirt. Thanks, Wikipedia. Wikipedia gives you access to 95% of the information that this institution gives you for a lot cheaper, for about $35 a month for an internet connection. If you had enough self-discipline, you could go get all this information on your own. You could have bought all the textbooks on your own and studied them on your own without paying all this money, if you were really here to learn. So let's just be real and let's be honest with each other about what's really going on, okay? In fact, a lot of students nationwide, not just here, aren't even graduating. But we're told this narrative that, oh, everybody goes to college and everybody graduates in 4 years. It's just like high school. Grades 13 through 16. Social promotion. What class are you all? I don't even know. And I'll tell you why I don't know. Because of one, I know the institution is changing from 2 year to 4 year, but even still, when it was a 2 year, some people take over 8 years to graduate.
My God.
Who says college is supposed to take 4 years even? I graduated from UCLA in 3 years. Who said it's supposed to take 4 years? Who made up that timeline? Who made up that timeline? If we condensed your K through 12 education to K through 8, guess what? You could have learned all the same stuff. Same amount of time. So where do these timelines come from? A lot of them are fictitious. Anybody know what the first year student retention rate is here?
28%.
28%. You don't have a 4 year graduation rate yet. 6 year. Many of you have no clue what these numbers are. But when it's time to look at a movie and buy a movie from iTunes or go to a movie theater, you do all kinds of research on Rotten Tomatoes and things like that for a $5 movie. But when it came to making a 5-figure investment, many of you didn't do the research even though the numbers are there. That's on you, nobody else. You will not be able to come back and point at the institution and say, they did this to me, they didn't tell me the truth. No, that information is there because I'm about to show you the information. It's all online. So you put all this energy into a $5 movie, but not a 5-figure investment. 6 year graduation rate right here is about 40%. 8 year graduation rate is 42%. So that means about 52% of people who start here don't finish. Now I'm not worried about you all in this room because I know that there's other students that didn't choose to come. You came here today because you were going to be on the positive side of these numbers. But I just want you to know what the numbers are and what you're up against. It's not this cookie cutter dream where everybody just graduates at the same time. I believe one of the keys to actually staying out of student debt is making sure that you graduate on time in the first place.
Amen.
See, education is this funny thing where if you take 5-6 years and you're at the family gathering and you say, yeah, I'm still in school, what do people say? Oh, that's great. They don't know you've been there for 8 years and it was only a 2-year program. And then some of us actually go hide out in graduate school and still incur more debt just because we're not ready for the real world. I want you to be ready for the real world. Now, brother here said, I came to get a job. Class of 2015, only 30% of graduates had a job on hand at graduation. College used to be a guaranteed path to a job, not today. See, when our parents went to school, it was 1 graduate, 3 job offers. For us, it's flipped. 3 graduates, 1 job offer. Now, there are students getting employed, but they're underemployed. They're going back and working at the restaurant that they worked in high school. They have a job, but it's just not one that's actually leading towards a career. There's a difference between a job and a career. Okay? The game has changed. What employers want to see is not necessarily what college you went to, and they don't even care about your GPA that much. What they want to see is that you know how to create value, that you know how to get money, and that you've led 20 or more people. Followers are the last people to get hired in today's economy. Leadership is one of the greatest skills that you have. Creating value means that you know how to solve real problems, and getting money means that you understand the business or the industry that you're about to step into. You can't just approach an employer and say, look at me, I'm a good person, I have a good GPA, please hire me. That's not how it works today. You have to approach them and say, here's what I've done, here's what I've studied, and here's some projects that I've worked on, and a group that I led, and I believe that this skill set will be valuable to increasing the revenues at your organization. It's a completely different pitch today than it was back in the day. In fact, some of our major employers aren't even valuing the college degree anymore. This is Ernst & Young, one of the biggest accounting firms in the entire country. Ernst & Young removed degree classification from entry criteria as there's no evidence university equals success. This is April 2015. Let enough Fortune 500 companies do that, and all of a sudden you're going to see these brick and mortar colleges start to erode. They're basically saying college doesn't mean anything. We have to retrain them anyway once they get here because they didn't learn much there. See, I don't want to just teach you liberal arts education. I want to teach you liberation arts. I want you to be free or feel like you're on a pathway to freedom once you graduate here, not that you were stuck. Okay? Now, some of you came here because it was a good investment, right? You felt it was going to be a good investment. Well, let's look at the numbers. You don't pay that much to be here, right? It's a state college. It was 2-year, going on to 4-year. As it steps into 4-year, I guarantee the cost rises. So you want to get out before that happens. But this isn't a lot. You break that down by month, by days, by hours. You're paying about 2 cents a minute, even when you're asleep, to have this experience. And that's not expensive. But the reality is that you're not here 12 months out of the year, and you're not on campus 30 days a month. You're here 9 months out of the year. You may be on campus 20 days a month if you have classes every day. Most people don't have classes every day. Some of you have like that Tuesday, Thursday schedule, so that would actually decrease that to 10. Maybe 5 hours a day, 60 minutes an hour, that's 19 cents a minute. 19 cents a minute, okay? So imagine going to a 2-hour lecture, and before you sat down in that lecture, you actually had to pay your professor about $24 cash. That's essentially what's happening, $24 cash. Some of you are like, I wouldn't even show up to that lecture. But that's what's happening. And if your professor misses that 2-hour class, then you need to go to the financial aid office and say, where's my $24? This is the investment that you're making. Now, whenever you make an investment, what do you want from that investment?
Return.
You want a return, right? So you either get a return on your investment, you return to school, meaning that you keep on coming back here year after year after year, or you return to grad school, or you return home. And a lot of college graduates, first generation and second, third generation college students, are returning home. See, graduation is like this beautiful day. Everybody's here. They've flown in from all over the country to celebrate you. You're getting flowers, you're getting cards with money and things of that nature. And literally everybody knows that the moment that they go back to the airport, that on Monday morning, you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go Monday morning after graduation. No prospects of employment. So here's what loans cost, private, unsubsidized. So let's just look at the cost of this experience for you. If you graduate from here in 4 years, that's $42,000. Usually it takes about people 10 years to pay back their loans at 4.5% interest rate. That's monthly payments of $434. So your total interest is going to be another year of school, basically. So this would be the total amount that you pay back. And if you stay 6 years, it gets worse, right? And there's no reason you shouldn't get out on time. Because basically, some of you stay here or are considering switching majors. Basically, when you're making the choice to switch majors, what you're saying is, I'm willing to pay another $26,000 to change 3 words on my 10-cent diploma. When you choose to switch majors, and it wasn't because you didn't get the grades to get into one, you're just like, oh no, I want to switch my major now, and I want to delay this process, I'm going to stay a little bit more time. You're basically saying, I'm willing to pay $26,000 to change 3 words on my 10-cent diploma. Does that make any sense? Finish with the degree that you start. My mentor, Andy Chan from Wake Forest, who runs a career center there, he's done research on the correlation between majors and careers, and he found that with the exception of STEM, your major does not matter in terms of your job. With the exception of STEM, your major has very little correlation to the work that you will end up doing. So just finish the major that you start. There's no reason you should take more time, okay? So now the average college graduate makes $1 million more, $1.2 million more over the course of their lifetime than someone who just graduates from high school. $30,000 more over 40 years at $1.2 million, okay? Now, let's just be real. Some of your friends who in high school who decided not to go to college and decided to become a mechanic or a plumber or something like that, they will actually have more job security than you all. They will have more job security than you all. Because guess what? Whether the economy is up or down, toilets break down. Whether the economy is up or down, cars break down. How many got an engine light on your car right now? Let's keep it real, right? Now, there may be a limit to what they can earn because they are using their hands and they're selling their time, right? But they will have more job security than some of you. Okay? So, what I wish the campus would do, instead of the waterfall in the A building, I wish they would put a stack of $1.2 million in a vault that you could see. So that every time you walk through the A building, you'd be like, that's my money right there. Because dropping out is a $1.2 million decision. Dropping out of college is a $1.2 million decision. You see, dropping out doesn't just happen in a day. Usually dropping out is a series of small decisions that ultimately culminate in you getting dismissed. It's that decision like, oh no, I ain't going to class today, I'm cool. It's cold outside, it's raining. No, I ain't going to study for that test. No, I'm not going to get this paper edited by the writing center. It's a series of small decisions. No, I'm not going to go to that event. No, I'm not going to go talk to my professor and get that grade changed. No, it's a series of small little decisions that lead to dropping out. But I just want you to know that what you're saying is to your kids and to future generations that are going to come through you, you're saying, guess what? Screw you. I'm too lazy to go do what I need to do. You're saying, screw you. I'm too lazy, so you'll have to struggle for me. These are the numbers. I'm not making these numbers up. This is just real math. And I'm just trying to put it in perspective for you because I don't think people see the implications of some of their small decisions. I'm not talking about big decisions like what major do you have and things like that. I'm talking about the little small decisions that happen every single day. Every day you're coming to crossroads. Do I go this way? Do I go this way? Do I show up to class on time? Do I not show up to class on time? Do I sit in the front? Do I not sit in the front? Do I take notes? Do I not take notes? Do I ask this question? Do I not ask this question? Every day, you're having all these decisions, and the more good decisions that you make, the more likely it is that you will graduate. The more oftentimes you take the easy road, the more difficult it's going to be. Not only your college experience, but also life. Okay? So, this is nationwide, the starting salary for the class of 2016, but it varies by region, and I want to let you know where exactly you all stand. Starting salary for IRSC graduate is about $40,000. Mid-year salary is $64,000. This is meaning that the work is meaningful, and I forgot what this number is. Okay? So this is what you could expect on average. Some of you will have more, some of you will have less. Okay? So I want to look at that really quickly so you understand what the first 5 years after college looks like if you graduate on time. Okay? Salary, $40,000, growing by 5% for 5 years. This will be the first time that many of you pay significant taxes. Many of you have never seen a comma in your bank account yet. So when you get this job and you're like, oh, this employer values me, somebody values me at $40,000, you think it's a lot of money. But the reality is you've been living off debt up until this time, okay? So you take off taxes, 25%, after taxes that's $30,000, right? So you're left with this monthly, $2,500. If you graduate in 4 years, you have a student loan payment of $434. So now after loans each month, you have to figure out how to live off $2,000. What's rent for a one-bedroom apartment here? $1,500. So you take $1,500 off of that just to live, unless you stay at home, and now you're trying to figure out how to live off of $500. And you did everything you were supposed to do. You went to college and graduated on time, and you're trying to live off of $500. Of course, as you go later on down the line and your salary goes up, it changes a little bit, but so do your desires as you get further and further away from college. You want that car now, you want that house now, you're gonna get that mortgage. Now, if you take 6 years, your student loan payment is now $650. So now you're at $1,875, then you have this $1,500 rent that you're paying, so you're trying to figure out how to live off of $375. And you went to college and you graduated, and this is your reality first 5 years out of graduation. I'm just trying to paint it as clear as possible so that you know what you're stepping into, okay? So how many of you seen these movies? Any of these movies? This is Hollywood College, and this is the college that you were sold. This is the college that you were sold. This is Hollywood College. For some of y'all, this was last Friday. For some of y'all, this was last night. For some of y'all, this was Friday and last night. This is Hollywood College. So, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun here. I want you to have moments like this that you remember forever until the day you die. But more than anything, the reason I'm here, the reason I left my family in New York to be here is to make sure that when this bubble bursts, that you were ready for the real world. When this bubble bursts, this safe little bubble bursts, this 4-year vacation that we call college, when it bursts, I want you to be ready for the real world. So this is our call and response. It's not my fault, but it is my future. Oh, did I depress y'all or something? Let's try it again. It's not my fault, but it is my future. Okay. It's not your fault that the world is the way it is today. It's your parents' fault. Don't tell them I said that. But it is your future. You get to shape your future with every little choice that you make, every single day. You made a choice to be here. There was an easier choice for you to go hang out, to be out in the sun. It's warm out there. But you made a different choice. And if you continue to make good choices like this, I can only assure you good things going forward. So you graduating from here, that's going to be the easy part. Many of you are going to go on to get graduate degrees, also incurring more debt. But in today's world, you need to have street smarts and book smarts. In our parents' generation, you could have street smarts or book smarts, right? Street smarts is being able to navigate uncertain situations and still make it. Book smarts is being able to plug the right number in the quadratic equation when there's only one right answer. In today's world, you need both because we're living in a very uncertain world. And this is what I call the dual degree. This is the dual degree. Having book smarts and street smarts. How many of you remember the valedictorian from your high school? No. Some of y'all don't even remember the valedictorian from your high school. I know the valedictorian from my high school, she's doing okay. Her high GPA, or the highest GPA in the school, didn't have any indication that she was going to be wildly more successful than any of us. That was book smarts. But you also need street smarts, okay? So at the end of the day, it does not matter what school you go to. What really matters is how you go to school. I don't care the fact that your school isn't ranked top 10 on USA Today, because it doesn't matter. I've seen students go to schools that I had never even heard of, but they took full advantage of that opportunity, and they had a richer experience of college than someone who went to the top-ranked school in the world, but did the bare minimum. It does not matter what school you go to. What matters is how you go to school. And so that's what I want to show you now. We can go to school and we can take the direct path, which is the easy road, right? And if you take easy road over and over and over again, this is what it's going to feel like at graduation. You're going to feel like you did everything that you were, quote unquote, supposed to do, be good, get good grades, go to good school, but you're gonna feel stuck at graduation and in life. And so what I'm challenging you to do is take the road less traveled. And the road less traveled is gonna put more mileage on your vehicle. But in real life, that mileage translates as experiences. And if you take the road less traveled, like you did today, to choose to come here, because there's some schools I go to, and students are required to come, and I'm glad they're required to come because they wouldn't have come otherwise, and they're thankful for it afterwards. But you all chose to come here on your own will. You could have been doing something else. And if you continue to make choices like this, then this is what life is going to feel like. You feel like you have the possibility to create your own road, to pave your own road, and direct your life where you ultimately want it to go. So I want to share with you what I call the other 4.0. I know you've been focused on the 4.0 GPA since junior high school, but this is the 4.0 that really matters and that will be with you for the rest of your life. It is your personal capital, your intellectual capital, your social capital, and your financial capital. If you grow these things, these are the things that will lead you to success. So I want to walk through those really quickly. Your personal capital is how well you know yourself. This is your awareness of your gifts, talents, and strengths. When I look at you, I can't see your personal capital because where does it live? It's inside you. And sometimes those things come so natural, our gifts and talents come so naturally to us that we aren't even aware that they're actually gifts and talents until somebody else looks at us and says, how do you do that? Wow, that is amazing. You're like, oh, I thought everybody could do this. No. Anytime somebody says that to you, write whatever it was that you were doing down. Because you're starting to see that, wow, I actually am gifted at this, that this does come naturally to me, and it's actually hard for other people. Your gift may be writing. Your gift may be the way you speak. Your gift may be the way you bring people together and the way you lead, right? You need to look for that thing. That's your intellect, that's your personal capital. Next is your intellectual capital. This is what you know. This is your domain expertise in one or two subjects or fields. See, a lot of people graduate from college and they have no intellectual capital, right? Because of what, again? We cram for exams, and the moment we hit the exit door, it disappears. So the reason they make college graduate hats flat on the top is so that you can do a headstand at graduation and dump out all the irrelevant information. Most college students graduate with no intellectual capital, meaning that if you stopped most graduates at graduation and said, can you please lecture for 1 hour on what you just majored in over the past 4 years? Most of them couldn't do it. You telling me you studied something for 4 years and you can't speak about it for 1 hour? You have no intellectual capital. You got that 10-cent piece of paper, though. Who got hustled? Were you hustling them or were they hustling you? Next is your social capital. Your social capital is who you know and who knows you. This is your networks up, down, across, and out. The most powerful form of networking that you can be doing right now in your life is networking up. Faculty, staff, professors, alumni, community leaders. Because guess what? When you network up, you actually are meeting the person who has the key to the door that you're trying to get into. See, a lot of people have lots of friends, and that's cool. But would you rather have the people that can get you to the door or the person who can get you in the door? One relationship upward could be equivalent to 20 relationships across. So I'm challenging you to build your network up. And then finally, is financial capital. You said you wanted to make money, right? Well, let me show you how financial capital works. It's not secret. There's no secret to how the rich get rich. It's very straightforward, and I'm giving it to you right here. Your financial capital is who knows that you know what you know. It comes at the intersection of your intellectual and social capital. Watch this. Rochelle, my social capital, met me at a conference and knows that I know a lot about helping young people succeed, my intellectual capital, and when those two things intersect, what happens for me? Financial capital. The more people who know that you know what you know, the more financial opportunities that will come your way. But some of us try to hide our brilliance. So me too, in high school, I didn't let my friends know what my GPA was. I hid my brilliance because I wanted to try to fit in. That might work in high school for the social scene, but it does not work in real life for your success. Anybody know how to fix cars in here? Okay, one person, two people. Okay? So earlier I had those people with engine lights on raise their hands. Now there are two people that you know in this room who know how to fix cars. Prior to this moment, did anybody know that he knew how to fix cars? Prior to this moment, did anybody know that she knew how to fix cars? No. So now when you see that pink hair on campus and you got the engine light on your car, you go say what's up, and she's gonna charge you money. That's how financial capital works. It's that simple. It's that simple. Same thing with getting a job. If you apply to a job, you wonder why your resume goes into a black hole, because nobody there knows what you know. If you know somebody at that organization and they know that you know something that's valuable to them, then what's going to happen for you? Financial capital in the form of a job opportunity. It's not rocket science, y'all. But a lot of us have no intellectual capital. We thought that college was going to give us intellectual capital. Your major is not your intellectual capital in most cases. Your intellectual capital is something that you have committed your life to mastering. So ask yourself, what do I want my intellectual capital to be? And how am I going to let the world know about it? So this is how financial capital works. So if you want to get paid, just follow this equation. Grow your intellectual capital, grow your social capital, and cross-pollinate the two. And I guarantee money flows into your life. Okay? So why are you here at college? Well, every college in the entire world has its own intellectual, social, and financial capital. Intellectual capital are courses, centers, libraries, online databases, programs, events. Social capital are professors, classmates, alumni networks, student groups, guest speakers. Financial capital are student government, scholarships, grants, financial aid, career center equipment that you have access to that other people have to pay for. Here's why you're in college. You are paying them $10,000 to use their intellectual capital to grow what? Your capital, so that you're more valuable at graduation than you were at orientation. You are paying them to use their capital to grow your capital so that you're more valuable at graduation than you were at orientation. This is how you get a return on your investment. Here's the problem. Most of us, we come to college and we only focus on classes. And classes only make up 40% of the college experience. Your real return on investment is all this stuff over here. So some of us get so caught up in classes, oh, I got a test, I can't get involved in that student organization. Oh, I got to study for this, I got to write this paper, I can't go to that event. And it's all about classes, 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 and you're missing out on the richness of the college experience. Okay. So this is why you are here. The real return on investment is on all of this, not just this. In fact, I'll tell you this. When I was at UCLA, I graduated with a 3.3, and it was a strategic 3.3. I could have got a 4.0 if I desired to, but I didn't want to. Each semester, actually we had quarters, each quarter I set grade goals. I want to get A's in these classes, and I don't care, not necessarily I don't care, but I'm fine with a B plus in this class because it's irrelevant to my future. And so when you average those things out, I ended up at a 3.3. And why did I do that? It's because if I was trying to get A's in all those classes, then I would have had to say no to all these other amazing opportunities that enrich my college experience. We have this vision of this all-American student that has the highest GPA, and they're president of this and president of that, and they're a Rhodes Scholar, and they're doing this, and they play on this team. That's not the ideal student. Most of those students who you see in the news like that, they're stressed out and they're dealing with depression. I set grade goals, strategic grade goals. In these 3 classes, I want to knock it out and I want to get A's. In these classes, I'm okay with a B plus. I don't really care about that. So I got a strategic 3.3 when I was at UCLA. So if I was to pay for all your living expenses for 4 years, what would you do with that 4 years of time if you knew that whatever you did during that 4 years of time would send your life on a trajectory of success like this, it would keep your life the same, or it would send your life downhill? What would you do in that 4 years of space and time to send your life in this direction? Save? I'm just covering your expenses, so there's nothing to save.
I do a lot of reading.
I would do a lot of reading. What would you read?
Stuff on history, financial.
Stuff on history and financial. Markets cycle, right? Markets going to cycle. So if he's studying the history of the financial markets, then he's going to know what to look for when the next wave is coming, right? What would you do? Yes?
Network. Who you networking with? Phi Beta Kappa and student government? Great. Internships, great. What else we doing? Huh? Travel, where are you traveling to? Places I know where I'll be able to build my social capital. Notice she didn't say places where there's a nice beach. She said places where she knew she would be able to grow her social capital, right? Yes?
Those expenses are covered due to higher risk investments.
You would what?
Those expenses are covered due to higher risk investments.
So you invest in high risk investments?
Yeah.
Got it. You can make those kind of mistakes early, right? No, not saying it's a mistake. You can take those kind of risks early for high return investments. Because you have life ahead of you to make it up if it doesn't pan out. What else would you do?
Study abroad.
Study abroad, great. Yes?
I'll work on more demos in California, start a YouTube channel, a clothing line, network with some dudes like this club that I met, and talk with revenue obligations with these side notes, start ghostwriting for people, and then try to travel to California.
Done deal. Sounds like he has his blueprint laid out. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody should be able to answer like that. Here's the reason why most of you don't, is that up until now in your life, you waited for other people to tell you what to do in order to make your life better. You waited for your parents to tell you what to do. You waited for professors to tell you what you do. And so now that I'm giving you 4 years of space and time to do whatever you want to send your life in this trajectory, most people don't know what they would do, waiting for somebody else to dictate. You got to figure out, how do I spend this time? Time is your most valuable asset. Time is your most valuable asset. It's not money right now. It's not money ever, because even Bill Gates can't buy another second of time. Okay? So there's 3 stages of freedom. There's mental freedom first, then there's financial freedom, then there's time freedom. A lot of people focus on financial freedom but forgetting about mental freedom. This is why they end up back in the rat race. Okay? So we want to elevate from level to level to level. So the first thing I need you to do is take a campus tour. How many had a campus tour when you got here? Okay, that campus tour is probably meaningless. Oh, this building was built in this year, and we named it after such and such because they gave us this much money, blah, 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 whatever. That's about the history of the campus. What you need is a campus tour about your future. And so this is the kind of campus tour I need you to take, where you actually talk to an upperclassman or you talk to a faculty, staff member, etc., who has a bird's eye view of the campus, and you say, based on where I'm trying to go with my music career, what people on this campus do I need to know of? And they'll be like, oh, you need to know Mr. Smith over there, you need to know Dr. Williams over there, and you need to know this department over here, and then you need to know this office over here. Say, great, that's what I need to know for my intellectual capital. Is there any other social capital I need to be aware of on this campus? Oh yeah, there's a student organization over there that you need to be aware of. There's also, this isn't his role, but he was actually a musician for 20 years before he came to work with us. You need to know him. Great. Now, is there any financial capital on this campus that I could access to get me closer to my dreams? Yeah, actually there's a pot of money hidden in that person's line item. No, I'm serious. How many of you have accessed money on this campus before? 1, 2 people. See, they even trying to hide so y'all don't figure it out. They have access money. There is money that comes to your tuition. Some of it goes to fund the university, but the other goes to a pot of money for students that you can access. But it's not just money that's sitting out there on campus. It's hidden in people's budget items. Certain offices, and if you don't know those people, then guess what? You don't get to access that money, and it's free money. It's free money to go to a conference in California, free money to start this student organization, free money to go put on this event on campus and bring your favorite artist to campus. It's on campus, but you don't even know that it's here. And when you don't know that it's here, you don't see it, then you don't even expect it as a possibility. Again, why are you here? You're here to use their intellectual, social, and financial capital to grow your intellectual, social, and financial capital. But if you aren't even aware that that capital is there, then you never actually get to leverage it. Okay? So this is the kind of campus tour that I need you to take. And each one of you is going to have your own version of IRSC. Each one of you will have a different campus. UCLA was so big that I didn't even go into every building. If you got lost on campus at UCLA, they put out an Amber Alert for you. Your campus is small enough for you to know where everything that you need to know is, right? To actually have those intimate relationships with faculty, staff, and professors, okay? So let's run through these really quickly. Personal capital. Get clear on your definition of success. Most of us simply adopt our parents' definition of success. Okay? How many want to be successful? Okay. How many have written down a definition of success before? Only a few people. So wanting to be successful but never ever defining it is like being in your home driveway, plugging in your home address to point A in the GPS, plugging nothing into point B, backing out of the driveway, and driving extremely fast in any direction, hoping that one day you crash into success. Does that make any sense? No. You have to define success for yourself, and until you define it for yourself, you adopt society's default dashboard, which is money, power, wealth, fame, and beauty, and then you also adopt your parents' definition of success. And guess what? You can succeed according to your parents' definition of success, but that doesn't mean that you'll be happy. The only way you'll be happy is to actually achieve success according to your own unique definition. Okay? Next, this is actually my definition. It's the alignment of my purpose, passion, and profit. Am I being who I want to be? Am I doing what I want to do? Do I have enough of what I need to continue being who I want to be and doing what I want to do? My goal isn't to be the richest man financially in the world. I just want to make sure that I have enough to continue being who I want to be and doing what I want to do on a daily basis. Okay? Next is take the Gallup Strength Finder. We live in a world that teaches us to focus on our weaknesses. If you come home with 5 A's and 1 F, what does everybody tell you to focus on? The F. So while you're trying to bring up the F, what happens to the things you were good at? They go down. That's the formula to being average. Focusing on your weaknesses is the formula to being average. Even our GPA system is flawed, because when you look at the world's most successful people, they're great at 1 or 2 things. GPA teaches you, try to be great at all these things. Try to be great at Spanish, math, psychology, physics, biology. Try to be great at everything. That's what a GPA suggests. And then you end up becoming jack of all trades and master of none. So the way we even measure our students is flawed. Get clear on what your strengths are and build your life around your strengths. Lead an on-campus organization. Remember, I said that companies hire followers last. Leadership is the greatest skill set in today's world. So you want to step into leadership. Don't just be a member of tons of organizations. Choose 1 or 2 organizations and get involved in leadership. Right? Get involved in leadership in those organizations, whether it's student government, whether it's fraternity, sorority, get involved in leadership. Create a vision board. This is my vision board. Most people, when they think of vision boards, they cut out the car that they want, the house that they want, etc. You can do that, and that's perfectly fine. But create a vision board that reminds you why you're here, what you're doing this all for. Because there's going to be some dumb classes that you have to take. And as you leave your room to go to that dumb class, remember that, okay, I got to take this dumb class, but this is ultimately where I'm trying to go. Having that visual of what it is that you're trying to get to is always helpful in terms of motivation. Right? So create a vision board, get some scissors, glue sticks, and a poster board, go through some magazines and flip through and say, yes, I want that in my life. No, I don't want that. I want that in my life. So some people cut out the Brad Pitt that they want. Some people cut out the Angelina Jolie that they want. They put that on their vision board. I'll take questions after. This is a powerful exercise. This is in my office. I see it every single day. Right? For me, it's not about the material stuff. For me, I'm more concerned with living my life in alignment with these values. Okay? Next is stop. Abstain from something for 7 to 30 days. We all have an Achilles heel. We all know what that one thing is that's stopping us from achieving our greatness. For some of you, it's laziness. For some of you, it's caring what other people think. For some of you, it's a drug. For some of you, it's sex. For some of you, it's video games. For some of you, it's social media. For some of you, it's procrastination. Whatever your Achilles heel is, I'm inviting you to let it go for 7 days and see if your life changes at all. If it doesn't change, then go back and do it twice as much. But let go of your Achilles heel. For me, mine was shyness. You can't tell now, but I was shy. And it wasn't until my classmates in high school nominated me to be vice president of the school that I recognized how my shyness was actually cutting me off from amazing opportunities and from amazing people. So whatever that thing is for you, I'm inviting you to let it go for 7 days and see if your life changes. Next is volunteer. Volunteer is the easiest way to find your passion because you're basically waking up on Saturday and saying, I'm not doing this for a resume, I'm not doing this for money, I'm doing this because my heart wants to do it. And the reality is that I was doing this work for free a long time ago. I don't tell my clients that now. But I started out just doing this work out of love. And then later on, I found out that I could get paid for it. And that's simply through volunteering. I was work in the community and work with youth, right, as a mentor and as a tutor. And then it started coming to the stage and things of that nature. And then I realized I can make a living doing this. So volunteering is the easiest way to access your passion. Read a spiritual text from cover to cover. Some of you are born into religious households, and my challenge to you is if you truly believe what you say you believe, then you should read the text from cover to cover. Don't come to college trying to convert other people to your belief system and you don't even know what the belief system is. And if you don't have a particular religious belief system, go to the bookstore, look in the spirituality section and pick something that resonates with you and see if it brings you closer to your source, whatever you define that to be. Okay? Next is wear a costume to class on a day that's not Halloween.
Yes.
Why would I tell you to do that? Because so many of us are so caught up in what other people think. And so with doing this, you're going to wear this piece of bacon one day and you're going to be rocking it, right? And it's 9 a.m. and you're going to be on campus till 5 p.m. And so at some point, what has to happen in your head? You have to stop caring what other people think. And you got to rock that piece of bacon like you own it. People are going to laugh at you, they're going to point at you, they're going to ask you why you're doing it. But at some point, you start to get comfortable in this costume. And then the next day, you put on just your regular clothes, which is your real costume. And you feel more comfortable in your own skin because you got over caring what other people think. Some of you only wear your hair the way it is because of what other people think. Some of you only dress the way you dress because of what other people are going to think. Some of you only majoring in what you're majoring in because of what other people are going to think. It's no way to live your life. You cannot please everybody. You got to focus on you. Okay? Do something that you might get rejected from. Some of us are so afraid of rejection. Some of you didn't apply to other schools because you were afraid of getting rejected. And now we'll never know. Some of you seen a hot guy or hot girl on campus and just been drooling over them the entire academic year. Oh my goodness, she's so fine. Oh my goodness. Everybody on campus knows that you think she's fine, except you haven't talked to her. Why? Because you're afraid of getting rejected. And you never know. You could be sitting next to your husband and wife right now. Hey, hey. But if you're afraid to say how you feel, tell how you feel. If you're afraid, you never know. Okay? So, do something that you might get rejected from. Okay? So back to our call and response. It's not my fault, but it is my future. Okay, we alive and we wait. Cool, let's push. Intellectual capital. I'm going to skip this video for the sake of time. This is Steve Jobs talking about the importance of passion. You saw his speech at the beginning. Does anybody know what Steve Jobs' passion was at your age? Does he know? Improving? He knew. The iPhone, technology, calligraphy. It was calligraphy. It's okay. It was calligraphy. Now, if you went home and told your parents, I'm passionate about calligraphy, what would they say? Like, you crazy. But here's the deal. Many of you are still living under your parental guise, even if they're at a distance. Steve Jobs was a foster kid, so he didn't have his biological parents breathing down his neck trying to direct his life from a distance. So he took that passion for calligraphy and it matured into a passion for design. And that passion for design matured into a passion for design and technology. And all of a sudden, you have Apple. If somebody would have cut him off when he said, my passion is calligraphy, then we would never have Apple. Some of you have passions that you don't have a clue how you would make a living doing it. My invitation to you is to continue to develop it because you never know what it's going to mature into. Some of you do love video games, and not from a escapism way, like I'm just trying to escape from real life. No, you really love video games. Video games could be bigger than professional sports in the next 5 to 10 years. So don't let other people cut you off from developing your passion. So I want to give you a clear distinction between passions and interests. Passion has to do with disciplined practice, whereas interest has to do with half-hearted play. So one of my passions outside of doing this work is playing pool. So when you come into a pool hall, you see me taking the same shot over and over and over again, trying to master it. On the next table over, you'll see somebody else taking the same shot, but they're just trying to hit it as hard as possible and pray that something goes in. Raise your hand if that's how you play pool. Okay, I'm engaged in disciplined practice. They're engaged in half-hearted play. Okay, so passion and interests are not the same. Passions are full-time, whereas interests are free time. It's the same with dating. When you're really passionate about something, even if it's finals week, you're going to find a way to see them, right? But if you're just interested in somebody in this finals week, they're going to have to wait. Right? And then the other thing about passions is that passions are action-oriented, whereas interests are topic-based. Most majors are interests. Okay? Even though most people aren't interested in their major. So let me explain what that means. If I say I have a passion for baseball, what do you think I want to be professionally? Baseball player. It's the first thing that comes to mind, right? But do more than 18 players show up to the field on game day? Do more than 18 players show up to the field on game day? Yes, they do. Why? Because there's an entire economy around baseball beyond just playing it. So when you think about the action, the ing, then we can start to see what that economy looks like. Watch this. Hitting baseball, pitching baseball, collecting baseball cards, studying baseball history, coaching baseball pitchers, announcing baseball games, managing baseball operations, scouting baseball players. Guess what? There's a career path connected to every single action word up here. Every single action word up there, there's a career path connected. Baseball in general, that's just this big thing. You're like, oh, you want to be a baseball player? No. There's an entire economy around baseball. Okay? So you want to get clear on the action that you're passionate about, not just the topic. When you look at the food chain in baseball, you have, on a game day, you have these people here who are probably getting paid the least that day. And then you have announcers and umpires. Then you have players and coaches. And then you have owners. There's an entire economy around baseball, but you have to understand what action within that economy you are passionate about doing. Okay? If I say I have a passion for food, what do you think I want to be professionally? Chef is the first thing that comes to mind. But are there more ways to engage food beyond cooking it? Yes, right? There's growing the food organically, writing food reviews, designing food baskets, tasting the food, hosting events around food for the homeless, experimenting with food fusion, hosting food shows, teaching people to cook food healthily. There's a career path connected to every single action up there. If you went home and told your parents, I'm passionate about designing fruit baskets, what would they say? Say, you're a fruit basket. But after you got kicked out, right? Then you come back 5 years later and you say, I own a company by the name of Edible Arrangements and we make $500 million worth of fruit baskets every year. See, some of you are so worried about what other people think that you would have missed out on the opportunity because you were worried what your parents were going to say about what you truly love to do. They make $500 million worth of fruit baskets, no college degree required. But if this person who founded this company was worried about what his peers are going to think because he is now in the fruit basket industry, then Edible Arrangements wouldn't be here. So I want to share a story about a friend of mine who's interested in archaeology, therefore she thought she wanted to be an archaeologist. Okay? Now, if we go with the ing words, what kind of actions are connected to archaeology? Digging. Researching. Huh? Scraping. Cleaning. What kind of feelings might an archaeologist be looking for? Feelings. Excitement. Curiosity. Mystery. Discovery. So watch this. Digging for info, searching history, studying people, curiosity, discovery, adventure. So I'm going to show you a trick. Look up here. Don't look at me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. My clicker's not working. Didn't work the way it's supposed to. I think it's the podium. What happened? What disappeared? The profession. The profession disappeared. See, many of us still get asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you going to do after you graduate from college? And what answer do people expect? A profession. Even when we were 6 years old, your parents said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And we thought we had to have a right answer, right? So what do we say? I'm an astronaut, a baseball player, a teacher, a firefighter, right? Even at 6 years old, we thought we had to have a right answer to that question. The truth is that most of us don't know. Not even most of us, all of us don't know. I didn't know I'd be doing this. The most powerful 3 words in the English language are, I don't know. So when we look at this person's passions first, instead of starting with the profession, what kind of career possibilities open up for them? What could they be given those passions? A journalist, psychologist, detective, anthropologist, historian. Great. So watch this. When we start with our passions first, it actually expands our career opportunities. But when we start with professions first, it actually limits us. And some of you are so locked in on a profession and you're 100% wrong. You're locked in on a profession and you're 100% wrong. But that profession, the reason you chose it is because somewhere inside that profession, you saw one of your passions. And so if we take that profession that you think you want to be and we say, let me stop for a minute. Maybe I don't want to be that, but what are the passions I see? What are the actions I see in that profession? And what are the career possibilities that would allow me to do that on a daily basis? You would see that your career possibilities expand. And that's what we ultimately want. So this person ended up being an HR recruiter. Instead of digging through piles of rubble, she digs through piles of resumes. Instead of studying ancient culture, she studies Google's culture to see if college graduates are fit for Google's culture. She does everything that an archaeologist does, but she's not called an archaeologist. She does everything that an archaeologist does, but she's not called an archaeologist. It's not about the title. What really matters is whether or not you're actually doing what you love on a daily basis. And when you start with your passions first, it expands the possibilities. So, what is your passion? What word is central for you? We just did baseball. We just did food. Is your word chess? Is it bargains? Is it events? Is it travel? Is it education, business, health? What word is the center of your career universe? And once you do that, you'll see that there's all kinds of possibilities. This is my friend Eric Alibis. We went to business school together. His passion was chess, and he went on to create chess.com. Multi-million-dollar company. There's money being made all around us, y'all. Every piece of clothing that you have on, the seat that you're sitting in, these speakers, these lights, this screen, this carpet, this stage. There's money just all around you at all times, but for some reason we get so limited. Teacher, doctor, lawyer, engineer, businessman, businesswoman, as if those are the only ways to go. Money is being made everywhere you go. Anywhere your eyes look, there's money that was paid for everything that you see. We got to get out of this idea that there's only these limited ways of actually making a living. And some of them don't even require a college degree. Okay? So what word is the center of your career universe? And from there, what actions make up that entire universe? And what descriptors might be there? So what I want you to do is I want you to treat your major like a minor and master your passion. Treat your major like a minor and master your passion, because at the end of the day, your major likely won't matter. But you need to be 100% dedicated to mastering your passion, okay? So here's some things you can do. You all get to check this one off. Attend guest lectures. How many are getting value from this experience? Okay? I'm not the only other great speaker out here. There are going to be flyers that the administration puts up and student organizations put up. Go. Because that 1 60-minute session could do exactly what I've been able to do for you. It could do the same thing. So continue to attend, make this choice. Learn a foreign language. Right? How many know a foreign language? Beautiful. In a globalized world, knowing another language is actually going to give you a leg up. But it's not just foreign languages, there's also computer languages. Anybody know any computer languages? Beautiful. These are all the languages behind every single website that you see, from HTML, CSS, PHP. These languages, if you want to have a voice in the age of the internet, you want to know computer languages. Master a skill. Master a skill. This is what I call the skills values matrix. These are things that lots of people can do. These are things that are very difficult. These are things that are very easy that lots of people can do. These are things that are very easy that few people can do. And these are things that are very difficult that few people can do. Okay? So I've only found one thing that's very difficult that lots of people can do, and that's giving birth. So shout out to all the ladies in the room. Unfortunately, you don't get paid for that. Okay? So watch this. How many know how to navigate Facebook? Okay, everybody. How many know how to set up a Facebook fan page? Okay, fewer people, but relatively easy. How many have grown a Facebook fan page to 10,000 fans or more? One person, 2 people. That's great. They know how to do something difficult in the environment of Facebook. There's nothing wrong with being on Facebook all day, as long as you're doing something difficult in that environment. Facebook's social media manager in the United States is $108,000 a year. They're on social media all day, but they are solving a problem in the context of social media. Okay? How many of you know how to tie your shoes? Let me just check. Let me check down here. Okay? Oh, we got the Velcros. How many know how to polish a shoe? Okay? $5, $10 in the airport, right? You can get paid, but just not a lot. How many know how to spray paint a shoe with an amazing design? 2 people, 3 people, okay, 4 people. Well, look at this. Converse on Zappos.com, $55 blank. This person knows how to spray paint them with amazing design, $400. They know how to do something difficult in the environment of shoes, so they are able to charge a premium. So what you should really be focused on while you're here is, what skill set do I have that's in the upper right-hand corner that's very, very difficult and that fewer people can do? Microwaving is not a skill set. Top ramen is not a skill set. Making your bed is not a skill set. It's a skill set, it's just not valuable. Okay? So you need to ask yourself, what skill set do I want to have by the time I graduate? That's in the upper right-hand corner. See, what we've been taught for a very long time, especially with the 4.0 GPA, is trying to prove to the world that I can do what she can do. Oh, she can do that. Look at me. I can do it too. Look. And, oh, he can do that. Look at me. I'm good at physics too. Oh, she can do that. I'm good at that too. That's the wrong way. What will really determine your success in life is determining what is the one thing that you can do that nobody else around you can do. What is the one thing that you can do that nobody else around you can do as good as you? If you find that, I guarantee you'll have more success than trying to be good at all things. Okay? So again, it's not my fault, but it is my future. Cool. So social capital, I'm gonna run through these. You have to know the difference between your social and your successful friends. In college, these were my social friends. And can you see where I'm at?
Middle.
I'm not gonna leave it up here that long, so you better hurry.
Yellow bandana.
Yellow bandana. Rochelle found me. These are my social friends, and I spent a disproportionate amount of time in my early years of college with this group. And my good habits actually almost got derailed by my presence and spending so much time with them. These were my successful friends. No overlap except for me. No overlap except for me. And I'm glad that I found my successful friends because they were my saving grace. I even hang out with some of them still to this very day. So I want to give you a distinction between social and successful friends. Social friends, they'll take you out to great parties. Your successful friends will take you out of your comfort zone. All my social friends graduated late, meaning that they spent thousands and thousands more dollars for the same degree. Most of my successful friends graduated on time. All my social friends barely finished undergrad. All of my successful friends went to graduate school. All my social friends I have no connection to after college. Most of my successful friends I'm still connected to decades later. My social friends have 5-figure careers that cap out at 5 figures. My social friends, they're all 6-figure careers. My social friends are primarily still renters. My successful friends are homeowners. The late great Jim Rohn said you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And some of you are the smartest in your crew. And while that may feel good, it's actually time for you to change your crew. Because if you're the smartest in your crew, then guess what? Everybody's pulling you down. You may think you're lifting everybody up, but you're also being pulled down. If you have an A student roommate with the C student, guess what's going to happen to that room over time? It's going to be a B. It's going to be a B bedroom. It's just natural. It just happens that way. And so you have some great. I'm not asking you to delete your social friends from your phone, but you have to know that they have a place, and you want to spend a disproportionate amount of your time with your successful friends. I still want you to know where the party is on Friday and Saturday, okay? So don't delete them. But you got to know who you spend the majority of your time with. When you look at the world's most successful people, what do you notice? Every successful person is surrounded by other people. They run in packs. There's no success story in the world that does not involve other people. Yet here we are, trying to be successful, all going at it by ourselves. I'm going to get there through sheer will. I'm not relying on anybody. I'm never asking for help. Look at me, I did it by myself. It doesn't have to be that way, okay? Late great Jim Rohn, you were the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you got to build your dream team. And by dream, I mean your desired relationships, employment, and money. You desire relationships, employment, and money. This is, for many of us, the last team that you were on was your high school sports team. You have to create a team for your life now. You have to create a team for your life now. Because having that kind of group is going to set you apart. Mark Zuckerberg, he was brilliant on his own. He was brilliant on his own, but he still went to Palo Alto with a crew. He said, no person knows how to deal with everything, but if you can find a team of people, then that's what's really going to get you through. That's what's gotten me through and what continues to get me through all the stuff that we have. You don't have to be superhuman. You have to kind of keep on going and not do it alone and find people who share your passion for what is an important thing in the world. That's Mark Zuckerberg, whose IQ is through the roof, but even he is aware that you need other people around you, okay? This is him and his crew that went to Palo Alto and what made Facebook possible, not just him working hard by himself, okay? So know the difference between your social and your successful friends and spend your time proportionately. So buy your domain name. I own JullienGordon.com. You should own yourname.com. This is your online real estate. It's there for you to claim. The number one thing employers do when a resume comes across, they search for you on Google. You want to control what they see. And by having your own domain name, you will actually get to curate that experience by attaching your website to it. Perfect your 30-second pitch. Your 30-second pitch is how you approach an alumni. Say where I am, who I am, where I am, and where I'm trying to go. Hi, I'm Jullien Gordon. I'm a first-year student at IRSC, originally from West Palm Beach, and currently I'm majoring in psychology, and right now I'm looking for a summer internship in Tampa where I get to shadow a psychologist for 10 weeks. That's your 30-second pitch. States who you are, where you are, and where you're trying to go. When you do that, then they can fill in the gap. Oh, I'm from there too. Or, oh, a good friend of mine is a psychologist. I'd be happy to connect you. This is your 30-second pitch. This is how you introduce yourself to people in your network up, okay? Next is, I said start a website or blog. This is an opportunity for you to create a portfolio and lay out all of your best work. You get an A on an assignment, put it on your website, so that when people start looking for you, they actually see your best work, okay? Meet the department head of your major. This is so important because when amazing opportunities come from off campus, whose email box will they go into? They go into this person's email box. And if this person doesn't have a clue who you are, then guess who never sees that opportunity? You. So if you actually go introduce yourself using your 30-second pitch and they know what your dream is, then anytime they get an amazing opportunity from off campus, who will they forward it to? They'll forward it to you and maybe 5 other students, and now you get to compete for this opportunity that doesn't get put on an email server, doesn't get put on a bulletin board anywhere. It just simply gets passed through relationships, okay? Contact 3 successful alumni, right? Especially in your industry, and build those relationships so that you're building your network up. Hopefully one of them can become your mentor to give you guidance and accelerate your process and compress time for you. Join a national student organization, fraternity, sorority, honor society, so that you actually expand your network beyond just Florida and that your network actually becomes global. and then study abroad, as the young man here said earlier. I graduated from UCLA in 3 years, so I didn't get a chance to study abroad. That's my only regret. For those of you who have time, I encourage you to study abroad. We live in a globalized world now, and this is going to be a rare experience, so take advantage of it. So in the home stretch, it's not my fault, but it is my future. Last thing we're going to talk about is financial capital, getting that money, all right? Conduct 3 informational interviews. Here's what an informational interview is. You dress up just like you're going to an interview, but you're simply going to meet with, if you want to be a doctor, then you go meet with 3 doctors and you have a series of questions. Why did you choose this career? What myths did you uncover? What were the false expectations that you had? What did your average day look like? What would you tell somebody like me who wants to get into this career space? What do you love about this work? What don't you love about this work? How has this affected your family? What is the pay trajectory? How much were your student loans by the time you graduate? Are you still paying them back? You ask those kind of questions so that you can make an informed decision about your career choice. Don't just say I want to be a doctor and not have ever interviewed or talked to a doctor. Don't say I just want to be a lawyer without having talked to a lawyer. See, the Cosby Show messed up many of us because they had a doctor and a lawyer as the heads of household, and the show took place in the middle of the day. How the heck do you have a doctor and a lawyer that has a household and they're home in the middle of the day all the time? The real Cosby Show, if that was their true profession, it would have only taken place from 8 p.m. till midnight, because that's the only time doctors and lawyers are home. But everybody, Black America, white America, we all bought in to this Cosby dream that you could have 2 professionals as heads of household and always be there for your kids. That wasn't my reality as the son of 2 doctors. My parents were always on call, always had to go to surgery, and granted, I know that they were in life and death services, right? They were in emergency services, so they had to do that, and they loved that work. That wasn't the picture painted on television. So sometimes usually we romanticize these careers, right? You want to be a teacher because you saw Freedom Rider or something like that. Right? You're like, you want to be a teacher, but a teacher has to be doing this, what I'm doing, a teacher has to be doing that 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like, you got to be on your feet 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Is that really what you want to do? Right? So go interview some teachers and say, what do you love about this work? What don't you love about this work? So you can make an informed decision. Interview with 2 companies. If you're going to interview with 2 companies, or you're going to intern with 2 companies, what summer do you have to start interning? By when? After your sophomore year. Sophomore summer, junior summer, and then after that, it's time to go, right? Now, an internship, I want to be clear. Working at the job that you worked at in high school is not an internship. That is not a summer internship. That's a summer job, not a summer internship. An internship is something that prepares you for full-time work in a career path. Working at the restaurant or the mall where you worked in high school is not an internship unless you plan on owning or running that store. Does that make sense? Okay. Eliminate credit card debt. How many have credit cards? There's no reason you should have credit cards right now. There's no reason. If you do have it, it should not be in your wallet. It should be in a block of ice in your freezer. Seriously. There's no reason you should have a credit card when you don't have a consistent income right now. There's nothing that you need that bad, with the exception if you had a medical expense because of an emergency and you had an appendicitis or something like that. With the exception of that, there's no reason why you need a credit card right now. There's no reason you should be spending more than you're earning. So if you do have a credit card or you don't, here's what I advise you to do. Get the card, put the one bill that you pay every single month on it, and usually that's your phone bill, because many of you can't live without that. After that, you cut it, after you automate the payments from your bank account to pay that one card, you cut up the card. What that does is it starts building your credit history as of today, and you have consistent payments month after month after month after month. That's the only reason you should have a credit card at this point in time. Is that clear? Okay. So 2 last things. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. This book changed my life. Many of us say we want to make money, but we don't know how money works or how it's made. This book educated me on how money works. Many of us think that a single-family home is an asset. A single-family home is not an asset. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A home takes money out of your pocket. Even after you've paid off that home, you still have to pay taxes and insurance, so money is still coming out of your pocket. A home does not become an asset until you sell it, and that's only if it appreciated. When you pay off the mortgage on a home over 30 years, you've typically paid enough cash to buy 2 of the homes. So there's these myths that we've been taught. You can watch HGTV and somebody gets a home, and what do they say? You're now a home owner. Are you really a homeowner at that moment?
Bank is.
The bank is. You are a home buyer, but you're not a homeowner until you've actually paid off the full thing. So you got to be very careful about how they manipulate with language. There's a lot of trickery out there. And next is sell something and make a profit. I don't care if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you're fine with being an employee, but go sell something and make a profit so you understand how a business really works. My first business was selling Now Laters out of my backpack. My mom brought home a jar of 100 Now Laters. I sold them for 25 cents each, made $25, gave her $10 to buy another jar from Costco, and I kept doing that. And then I upgraded to a CD burner. I got CDs for $1 at that time. I would sell them for $5 in school, etc. Right? Go sell something and make a profit so that you understand how a business truly works. So that same little cycle that I just laid out for you, that's no different than Ford Motor Company. What do? They buy doors and cars and wheels and windshields and things of that nature at a cost, and then they market it and sell it at this price, and that's how the cycle works. It's no different. Every company works in that same exact cycle. Okay? So sell something and make a profit, then you'll truly appreciate what it means to have a job. Nobody owes you a job. Jobs are hard to create. I employ 3 other people, and jobs are hard to create. So nobody's just there to give you a job. Jobs are very hard to create. All right? So I want you to be clear about that. So I'll leave you with this extra credit, and it actually has to do with your credit because many of us get screwed, again, as they try to get you as a young person. So let's say you were going to a party, you really needed some red shoes for this outfit. And so you're like, I don't have the cash, and so I'm going to put it on the credit card, and this is not going to cost me that much. It's only 15% on $100 when you annualize that. That's only $8.31, right? But guess what? This is your first time ever spending on credit, and you miss a payment. And you know what happens when you miss a payment? You get a ding on your credit report. Or you're like, oh, but I moved. I'm a college student and we move every year and I didn't get the piece of mail. And they don't care. They don't care. So not only do you get that $8.31, you also get late fees. Okay? But that's not where it hurts. That's not a lot of money, right? That's not where it hurts. Now you want that red car after graduation to go with those red shoes. And they run your credit and they see that a few years ago there was this ding on your credit report that you couldn't pay $10 a month on time. So instead of giving you the car at $15,000 at 5% for 5 years, they actually give you $15,000 at 6% over 5 years. That's a $415 difference in interest, even though it's only 1%. So now those shoes have officially cost you $423. But wait, it doesn't end there. Because now you need that red house. Now you need that red house to go with that red car to go with those red shoes. And here's where it hurts. Because of that ding on your credit report, now you're getting a $300,000 loan. You could have got it at 4% if your credit was good, and you would have paid that, but now you're getting it at 5%. It's only 1% difference, but over the course of the loan, that's a $64,000 difference. So now those shoes that you needed so bad for that party that you had to put on that credit card to impress that guy or that girl, it actually cost you $64,000. This is how credit works. They get you to mess up your credit early so that as you make bigger and bigger purchases later, that's where they make their money. So I want you to be very careful with that because I don't want you to fall victim to that. Your student loans is already going to be heavy enough. We don't need to add consumer debt on top of that. So the PowerPoint just magically went off. I think I'm getting the Sandman. No, I'm joking. But that was it. That was it. And so with that, I want to say thank you so much for your time, your presence, and your attention today. You've been a great audience, and I wish you the best on your journey. Again, it's not just about liberal arts, it's about liberation arts, and I hope that this experience has liberated you. Thank you.